Welcome to Geektionary. My name's Corey Hales, and this is the geekiest podcast you'll probably ever hear, where I will try to teach you, along with my friends, about the nerdier things in life. Let's talk about it. So this is about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So today's letter is B. There's probably no one in existence that knows more about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or at the very least loves them as much as Jacqui. So
it's true.
Yeah.
True. I love me some Buffy.
Yeah. All right. So did you first start really watching it from the movie, or did you watch the TV series and then the movie, or how did you really?
I didn't even start watching the show until it was over. My friend Erin introduced it to me probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "You have to watch the show Buffy," and I was like, "Buffy the Vampire Slayer? That sounds really cheesy."
Yeah. Whenever you hear about it, it sounds like it just makes me sad because the idea of it seems so dumb.
Yeah, it
Just
does.
some random cheerleader going around killing vampires.
Yeah, and I was like, this really isn't for me.
Yeah.
But she brought me over season 1. She's like, "You have to watch this."
Mm-hmm.
And of course, season 1's the worst season. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I watched it. I think it was shorter too. It was only about 12 or 13 episodes.
Yeah, and it got such a huge following from young people. The WB, they were the ones that broadcast it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they really did not expect that. And so after that, they almost doubled it for the second season, making it, I think, 22 episodes.
Yeah, it was 22 episodes like every season after that.
Yeah. That was me very loudly opening the Key Lime Cherry Pombe thing, which is apparently quite good. It is good. Jeez. That's really good.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Anyway,
back to the topic at hand.
Did you ever end up seeing the movie?
I own the movie.
Does it compare?
No. No. The movie is wildly ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's who's in it? David Arquette and Christy Swanson, I think.
Yeah, it starred Christy Swanson, and the thing is, the rest of the cast, it's like Donald Sutherland, Luke Perry, Paul Rubens, Rutger Hauer, Hilary Swank. Like that's a good cast. And then even though Joss Whedon did actually write that, but it was just changed by the executives and stuff, which made it end up kind of such a mockery of what the show turned out to be.
It truly was. It was just, I don't know. I can't even describe it honestly. It was really, it was entertaining. I'll give it that, but it was super, super corny, and I had seen the movie before I ever saw the show, so I was like, I can't imagine the show's going to be much better.
Yeah, seeing that and then watching the show, it's hard to describe.
It's a completely different universe,
Yeah, and the weirdest thing is I've only seen little parts of the movie, and hearing that Joss Whedon still wrote that, it's depressing because like Joss Whedon also wrote the majority of this TV series. He wrote Cabin in the Woods. I think he helped at least writing with the Avengers.
Yes, definitely.
And all of those kick ass.
Yeah.
Like severely.
It was just like it's like almost like his idea wasn't completely formed yet on Buffy, so it was like Buffy at its rawest. Raw, so it's kind of just like, okay, so we're gonna have this cheerleader, and she's gonna fight vampires.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, make it into a movie.
There's a video game coming out fairly soon called Lollipop Chainsaw, which who's the director of the remake Dawn of the Dead? That was James Gunn, right? Sound familiar? Does it sound?
It does
right-ish?
sound familiar.
It's basically the same kind of idea, cheerleader fighting zombies, except James Gunn, not Joss Gunn. James Gunn wrote it and directed it basically, and it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it looks retarded.
Yeah. Like some of those things, like you can't just take them for, it's almost like don't judge a book by its cover because it might be really, really awesome.
Yeah. And again, though, it's also like if you take two things which don't seem like they go together and put them together, that doesn't necessarily mean it will always win. Yeah, because
sometimes it just does not work.
Yeah, sometimes it's absolutely awful. I wish I could think of an example. Oh, geez. Well, I guess you could look at it in the sense of Twilight, because it's vampires and it's werewolves.
But Twilight is such a ripoff of so many different things.
Yeah.
Like, it's a ripoff of Anne Rice. It's a ripoff of Buffy. It's a ripoff of basically Dracula is a ripoff of everything. It's all kind of shoved into one movie, so that's why I think it doesn't work.
It's like they took in my opinion, some of the worst aspects of the prior things, the Buffy, the Dracula, the Anne Rice. You know, Anne Rice is only doing like Christian stuff now.
Yes, I heard that.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it is. It really is, because it's like, why? You were so good.
Yeah.
You were so good before.
Well, my whole thing with Anne Rice is Queen of the Damned and Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
Interview with the Vampire, fucking
amazing.
Awesome. Queen of the Damned can go to hell.
It was I do own it.
Yeah.
But I'm not proud of that.
So the TV show, the movie was released in 1992. And the TV show came out in 97 and ended in 2003. You started watching it around 2008-ish, you said?
Yeah, 2006, 7.
All right, so...
It was long over when I started watching it, though.
One thing about it that's always kind of bothered me was that most of the people that were in the cast didn't work again for a while, it seemed. Like, Allison Hannigan had the best career because she made The American Pie, and then nothing for a long time, and then How I Met Your Mother. Sarah Michelle Gellar did nothing for a long time. Now she's in that Doppelganger TV show that I think was just canceled.
No, I thought it had another season, but I've never.
Oh yeah. Revenge, right? Is that what it is? The Killing.
No.
I don't.
It's not good. Hey, yeah. One of us know.
Yeah.
The Ringer.
Yes,
the
yes.
Ringer.
Thing is, though,
I've never
like
seen it.
neither have I.
No,
and I have no
really care.
Yeah. I think she's good at being Buffy, and when she's in other stuff, she's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's I just don't
like,
care.
She got typecast in like a lot of horror movies. Like she was in the one with the little Asian baby.
the one with the little Asian baby.
The scary Asian baby.
Scary Asian baby.
The
Grudge.
The Grudge.
Scary Asian baby.
In The Grudge. She was in I know you did last summer.
Yeah.
She was in Scream 2.
Okay. Yeah, just a lot of slasher stuff. But
those
other ones, she was the hero of Grudge.
Yeah.
But she still dies.
What was the one, Scooby-Doo?
Yes, she was. Which is perfect, because, the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
Which
she married, what's his name, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
And then she had a baby. So she was,
They still together?
Yeah, they are.
Wow.
So she was into that, I guess, for a bit.
Yeah, that took up a bit of her time for a while.
It certainly did.
Yeah. Anthony Stewart Head, Giles.
Yeah.
He works. He's more of like a theatrical actor, though.
I was just going to say, he's more like into plays and that kind of thing. I thought he was on like a British comedy, like Little Britain or something like that.
He was, and he was also in an episode of Doctor Who. The Doctor Who.
I did see that one. That was great.
I tried to cover it up. I did legitimately just call it the Doctor Who.
The Doctor Who.
Him, Michelle Gellar, Xander.
He's been in nothing.
No, he's in a Criminal Minds, but not as a main character. He just shows up now and then. Yeah.
Everyone's in that show.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, that's a show you start out at. Not a show that you go to after you've been in a giant TV series.
You start there or you end there, because that was the last thing I think Mandy Patinkin did. I like Mandy Patinkin.
You just like saying her name, Patinkin.
I love that last name. Just that full name is awesome.
Yeah.
Mandy Patinkin. You ever heard him sing?
Oh, him?
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Okay. You saw Princess Bride. Yes. Inigo Montoya.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mandy Patinkin. And he sings very strangely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, download some of his tracks and rock out. Eliza Dushku still kind of has a career, except the thing is, she's not a good actress.
No,
not at all. Like, in the show, she was another Slayer that showed up. She was Faith. She was a more badass rock and roll kind of. It felt. Oh, geez, yeah, it felt so hard. Like they're trying. We need to make this cooler for the kids.
Yeah,
and
got her, armband tattoos and
got the motorcycle boots and denim jackets and stuff like that.
I don't know.
Most irritating thing, in my opinion, about her was that fucking catchphrase that she had: 5 by 5.
5 by 5.
Fuck you.
What does that even mean?
It means it's square. Like. I
never got that.
Whenever I hear 5 by 5 though, whenever she said it, I immediately just flash back to when I worked at places like Canadian Tire And people would try do you guys sell wood here? I need about 5x5, and I'm just like, you don't need that. No one needs that.
Who knows? Maybe she worked at Canadian Tire before she was a slayer.
she had a carpentry background, which hey helps with the stakes though.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Well, she was in Bring It On.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was she was either in Buffy or right before or right after.
Yeah.
Because it was in the late 90s.
Yeah, that was the gymnastics sports movie.
Yeah, and the only other thing I can think of is Dollhouse.
Yeah, did you see Dollhouse?
I did.
What'd you think?
I have lots of opinions on this show. I watched the first season and I thought it was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend was like, no, like you gotta keep watching. So I'm like, okay, I will watch the last season because it only lasted for a few seasons. And it did redeem itself in season 2. I thought it got a lot better.
Didn't it then have a with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, they kind of did the Monster of the Week thing, but they also had the overarching plot. And with Dollhouse, it felt like every episode, even though it wasn't an actual monster, it felt like a Monster of the Week episode. Yeah. There was no
it never progressed past that.
Yeah.
So you didn't really for me, I just didn't get into any of the characters. Mm-hmm. I didn't find any of them endearing. None of them made me super angry. That's what a good show is made of.
The characters that you love to hate. This guy's a son of a bitch. I need to see what he does next.
Exactly. Yeah. With Dollhouse, it was nothing like that. So but luckily for me, it was only 2 seasons, so I didn't have to go through it for too long.
Yeah. I got through the first season. I was like, I don't care what people say. I'm not watching the second. But then I keep hearing about Alan Tudyk in the second season. You know Firefly, right? Wash.
Yes,
pilot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He apparently was really quite good in that too.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. Yeah. I thought he was one of the better characters in it, but then there wasn't a lot to choose from. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Kind of too little, too late.
Yeah, exactly. So. And he was, he plays himself.
Mm-hmm.
He acted the same in Firefly as he did in Dollhouse. So I was I like this guy. He's he's kind of quirky, a little weird.
Yeah.
But it was.
In Dollhouse though, he was a killer, right?
He had 2 personalities, right?
And
okay. The whole plot of the show was they could implant them with
whatever personalities.
He was the one, I believe, who had the personality. I don't know, something went awry, and he ended up killing people, and he was figured out what was going on, and that was the whole thing of the show, right? She found out I'm getting these memories and all these things implanted in my head. We need to stop this. That was all what season 2 was all about, right?
Yeah.
So he was a killer in the show, but he was also kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah. With Buffy though, getting back to that.
Yeah.
How many lists do you think that it's made in terms of greatest TV show of all time lists? And I mean not just nerds on the internet on their blog and stuff. I mean official type sources.
I honestly, I'm kind of biased, obviously, because I think it's a great show and it's my favorite show.
Mm-hmm. I should mention that there's the entire Scooby Gang pretty much standing on a bookshelf in this room. So
there's more down there too. Just got some more.
In their packages, of course, because
Yeah. No, I mean it's won Emmy awards for.
The Silence one.
Well, Hush.
Hush, yes.
And Once More with Feelings.
Both of which, to me, seem like such polar opposites, because one, no sound, the other one, lots of sound, lots of singing, and they're both so fucking good.
They are. They're Joss Whedon, at his best.
Mm-hmm.
To think of that is so impressive, especially for a show like that.
Yeah.
It's really taking a risk, especially with a singing episode. It's kind of really? There's a singing episode?
Are you gonna have a musical?
When I knew it was a singing episode, I'm kind of tempted to just skip past this one, but it was super good, and all the casts were amazing. I mean, mine is Allison Hannigan, because she has, I think, one singing line in the entire thing.
I bet, when she got the script, it probably had a lot more of her singing, and she just goes to Joss this can't happen.
I don't see
no one will be happy with this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a show for everyone, right? It has the danger in it, and it has the comedy in it. It has the drama in it. So I'm sure that it's not just for nerds.
It has a lot of romance too. With
it does.
First with I think Angel, right? Because he's the vampire with a soul who eventually got his own TV series, which was very good.
Oh, I loved Angel.
And another vampire love affair with Spike, except that also caused one of the most. A lot of people were troubled by this one episode. Controversial, yeah. It was very, very controversial because of a quote-unquote rough love scene.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
I've seen that one several times.
But,
they actually break down the building around them. Yeah. They wake up in the yeah. Ew, I mean, it wasn't. This isn't a show for children.
No.
So children should be watching this show. They probably wouldn't understand most of the jokes and the humor anyway.
It would probably scare them because the effects and stuff were pretty good.
They were. Well, the first season.
Yeah. Once they had a budget.
Yes. Once they had a budget, it was quite good. That episode, it was all about Buffy changing into a different kind of person, right? Mm-hmm. And I think they definitely got that across.
Yeah.
With the saucy house breaking down scene.
Yeah. That was when you said that you've watched it several times, that made me just think.
I'm sitting there waiting for it to happen.
No, it's like you've had a bad day at work. You come home, you pour a tall glass of wine, like one of those big ones, and then you just go into a dark room and watch that. Just the scene.
It's like 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh God, what is 50 Shades? What's it? That's a romance novel. I know that, right?
Apparently, I swear on my life I've never read this book, and I never will. Mm-hmm. It's based on Twilight.
Okay.
So the main characters are based on Bella Edward.
Yeah.
And basically it's about like S&M and how he like controls her, and it's very saucy.
So you could take 50 Shades of Grey and kind of shove it into or in between a couple of the books. Like after they get married, then 50 Shades of Grey happens, and then the next book happens.
Pretty much. They're calling it like mommy porn.
Yeah.
All the moms who like Twilight are going out and buying this book and just like sitting at home like, I can't talk to you. I gotta read my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just seen the cover and I've heard about how it's like mommy porn and all that, and I just kind of wonder how the whole like Harlequin romance thing.
Yeah.
Like they still make new ones.
They do.
Fabio is still on the cover of a lot of books. Yeah. With his shirt ripped open, always like in that same position.
It's like just modern like romance novel.
Yeah.
But like it takes it to the very next level.
Yeah. Do not get the appeal of the whole vampire thing.
For me, like, I was never into it before Buffy. I didn't care about any of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And
you've read Twilight though too, right?
I have.
And you liked it?
No.
Okay.
I read all of them. Mm-hmm. You can see they're right there.
Right behind.
Right behind
Buffy.
You. Yeah. So, like, I read them, and I thought it was horrible writing. You want to know what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it is the corniest thing you've ever read, and it reads like it's meant for children.
Yeah.
Because she's not a good writer. You want to know what happens next.
Yeah.
Even if what happens next is a complete disappointment.
Yeah.
It's mostly what those were.
It's kind of like right now I'm on the 4th book of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And the characters, all the main characters are different than what they were in the past 3 books. That's all I'm saying.
You're going to give it away.
It's not giving away anything. It's just because of that. When you're reading it, even if you've like some of the characters have been introduced in other books, but they weren't main characters, and now they are. And it's weird suddenly getting their perspective on things and like what's happening with this character who is in every book and is now only mentioned here and there.
Yeah.
And it's taken me.
Going, though,
Yeah, it does. Excuse me. It does. It's just and it's not that it's bad. It's just having to reacquaint yourself with these new characters all of a sudden.
Yeah, because you tie yourself to certain characters and you like certain characters, and then when they're gone, you're like, well, who cares about this guy?
Yeah, I'm about. I've been reading it incredibly slow because it's
an incredibly big book.
It's a big book, and George R.R. Martin's a decent writer, but sometimes he goes on and on and on. But
dream sequences, I hate those.
Like this doesn't give anything away. Like so far, I'm about like a third to halfway through the book, and none of the main characters have been any of the Starks.
Oh.
Yeah, which is like not Jon Snow either.
See, Buffy's done, so if you haven't seen it, then that's your own problem.
Yeah.
You can make all kinds of spoilers.
Yeah,
she doesn't die.
Oh. The thing is, the series is still continuing though.
In comics.
Which,
I have the comic books actually.
Have you been following the seasons then? Well, the new seasons?
I mean, I have season 8. It should be on there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Right down there.
See, I got to. This is funny. I started reading it. I was intrigued. I was like, oh, this is good. Cool. She starts like a little army or whatever. Spoiler.
But if you've seen it was the last season where all the potential Slayers became active Slayers.
Yes.
which sounds like some weird Transformer thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on. Sorry.
It got weird for me. Like it just strayed too much from what Buffy was initially, and it just became really weird. Like there was issues where it was Buffy in the future and Buffy in space, and
Jesus.
and Buffy becomes a lesbian. Like it's like, come on, like.
Yeah.
How many lesbians do we really need on this show?
Yeah.
2 or 3 I'm cool with, but like Buffy, come on.
That I find with, like, one thing a lot of people give props to Buffy about is that they made a strong female character as the main character without making her like some weak, flighty thing or at the beck and call of every dude that comes along and shows any amount of attraction to her. And then when it comes to the comics, they probably keep up with that for the most part, but then, you know, like you say, of course, if it's going to involve a main woman, she has to kiss another woman at some point. It's going to happen.
That's when I actually stopped reading it.
Because to you, it felt like it had just...
It was not Buffy to me anymore.
This is just comics now. Like, not even... This is... Yeah.
Like, the reason I started reading it, because I wasn't quite done with Buffy yet. You know what I mean?
You
like,
needed to get
closure. I wanted more. I needed some closure.
Yeah.
And then it just got too weird for me, and it just strayed too much from what it was originally intended for. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I have my closure now, that's for sure.
Yeah. One comic series that's actually going to be doing something similar, like you've heard of The Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the movie or read the book?
I did, yes.
Did you read the book?
No.
What they're doing now is they're taking all the characters, Ozymandias, the comedian, Rorschach, and they're giving them their own comics, taking place before Watchmen, the actual graphic novel takes place. And that was written by Alan Moore. And he's famous for hating every version of everything of his that's adapted to anything else.
Great.
He thinks, and legitimately so, he proved it with Watchmen, he thinks that comics are an entirely unique medium in that they can tell a story in ways that other media can't.
Oh, definitely.
Throughout the Watchmen comic, it keeps on making allusions to like this pirate comic that's on kids reading and all these other little stories on the side. Most of that was taken out for the movie because that becomes too much, which proved Alan Moore was right.
Yeah.
It didn't. I still think the movie's really good, and I think the comic's really good.
Yeah.
They're just different. And he was not consulted about these like prequel comics.
Oh, okay.
And he's really mad. But
yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, it's taking something you created and turning it to something completely different.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be too happy either.
He says, and like he's made a lot of money on that and on a bunch of other things that he's done. He did V for Vendetta.
Okay.
He did From Hell. I don't know if you saw that movie. I think Johnny Depp solving the Jack the Ripper case.
No, I think I remember that.
Not very good.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah, I really didn't like it. But anyway, he says that he did those comics because he's a writer and he has to write and he has to create. It's all about artistic integrity, but he's quite rich.
Yeah.
Well,
I bet.
in terms of comic creators, he's quite rich. Maybe not as much as like Stan Lee, but
I don't think anyone's quite as rich as Stan Lee.
Yeah. No one's either as charming as Stan Lee. He's a great old man. He's everyone's grandpa.
Yes, he certainly is.
Okay, let's get back to Buffy.
Yeah, off track just a little.
Yeah. One thing about Buffy also that I liked, because I started borrowing the DVDs off you, and...
You want some more?
Yes, please. In the background of a lot of scenes, like in one, there was Biff Naked, there was No Doubt, there was other bands. Nerf Herder, obviously, but they did the intro. But it was a huge thing for pop culture because it made a huge amount of references to it. The part where the seasons where that club was such a huge thing, really bugged me.
Yeah, they got away from that.
Yeah.
They almost had like different places for each season where they really like.
First season was school.
First season was the library.
Mm-hmm.
Second season, the library. Third season, the library. Like all throughout high school, that's where they really like convened.
And then they all started meeting at that god awful club.
Yeah.
Which.
Honestly, the name of the club.
What was it?
Is escaping me right now.
It was a goth club too, basically, right?
Well, I think it's just because there's so many vampires there that it turned into a golf club.
Yeah, but also like the interior, it was all blacks and reds and darks, and there's poor lighting. which to me seemed really strange for it to be the most popular club in like small town California.
I think it's also because it was the only club that they had.
That's true. Yeah, it felt like a town. What was the town?
Sunnydale.
Sunnydale. Yeah, it felt like a town that had the one club and then just a shitload of like crappy bars.
Yeah, and coffee houses.
Yeah,
and their one crappy movie theater that you see every now and then.
Yeah, and the Magic Store, which...
Well, the Magic Store, that's when you say that, because season 4, that was when they went off to college, and then Giles' house
became one of the main characters, main places,
places they hung out, and then the same with season 5, and then Giles kind of left the show.
He was more. He went from main cast to like supporting cast.
So he was only in like he guested in it a bit, mostly starting season 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And then like season 6, Buffy's house, because Buffy's mom
came back.
No, she died.
Oh.
Nice try.
Sister came back.
Yeah, no, Buffy's mom died, so Buffy owned the house by herself. So then her house became like the main place, and then season 7 as well. Like the house is like where they always are.
Yeah.
So that's where they do the training and everything like that. But it was kind of fun how they always changed it up.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, like a show like Friends. So it's nice that they, like the first few seasons, they really stuck to the school, obviously because they went to school there.
Yeah.
And they stuck to the library. But after that, they kind of, went to Giles. And then they added some places into. They added the coffee shop.
You mentioned the school. That reminds me, I remember reading something about plot holes in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
And you just gave me such a horrible look. It's not a big thing. This is the only one I can remember, and honestly, I really don't care. But I remember there was the one teacher that was like an insect lady that laid a bunch of eggs in the school. Yeah. And then those eggs were never mentioned again.
It's very true. That was in season 2, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And Xander falls in love with her. And no, they never talked about the eggs ever again.
You know what I think?
And you know what? I'm just realizing this for the first time.
Really?
Now that you're saying this, I'm like, they did never talk
Nothing
about
ever
the
happened with the egg. Yeah, so that dirty look that you gave me was completely uncalled for.
That's valid. That's valid.
There are more, but what show doesn't have those,
Yeah.
Every show.
7 seasons of being very intricate. I think one plot hole is pretty good.
Yeah. It's
you could probably think of some more. But...
I can't, but I know there are more. But you know what could have happened with the bug eggs? Maybe the school called an exterminator at one point. Like there's, I don't know, some sort of like.
They're like mutant.
There's like a hornet's nest or something. So they call an exterminator. So it gives the whole school look. See, it's these sprays them with the pesticide dead. End of plot hole.
Or season 3. You saw season 3?
I believe so.
With the mayor.
Yes,
the mayor's evil.
The mayor is
the mayor
awesome.
took care of the eggs.
Yeah, like maybe he's just like, these aren't going to do well here. I'm going to ship them to Europe.
This isn't going to help us in our town.
There's another bug lady in like Sweden. She can be the adoptive mother of these.
Exactly. That's what I kind of put everything onto. I'm like, the mayor took care of it.
The mayor took care of it, sent whatever the problem was to Sweden.
Yeah, exactly.
The mayor, that was something that I really liked about that show. Not specifically the mayor. Each season.
Yeah.
Like I said before.
Kind of big bad.
Monster of the Week, overarching story.
Yeah.
And the overarching story with the mayor, because like the first big bad was like the ultimate vampire, who was
the master.
Who was an old shitty. I did not care for him.
No, he was kind of wimpy.
Yeah.
Like. She got rid of him pretty easy for being the ultimate vampire.
Yeah.
But I mean, they proved in later seasons that obviously that's not the case, and there are worse vampires out there.
He was basic.
He couldn't even leave his little. He was like in some kind of little dome or something, and he needed an anointed one or whatever. It was silly.
I think the reason, he was the best vampire in the county, and so he called himself the ultimate vampire.
That's very true. There was one thing about Buffy that always bothered me.
What?
And I'm sure this goes for everyone. Whenever they needed something, it was always in Sunnydale. You know what I mean? Oh, we're looking for this sword. Oh, it's in the graveyard. Don't worry about it. Or
graveyard.
You know what I mean? Or there's the glove of Amara or some crap. Don't worry, it's in the graveyard. Everything was always in the graveyard.
I always imagine that place either having one big fucking graveyard, or a lot of little ones.
Oh, they did mention in an episode that they actually had over, I think, 14 or 15 graveyards in Sunnydale. It's kind of a running joke. Well, because people always die, obviously.
Yeah.
So that they had, like, a ton of graveyards in Sunnydale.
But the thing is like you said, with the sword and the hand of whatever his face, apparently there were. Okay, it's on a Hell's Mouth, right? Yeah. Sunnydale is on a Hell's Mouth, and I guess that would draw in that kind of goofy shit, and that's true. I guess the reason. True. It's just like, oh yeah, Hell's Mouth.
It just always seemed too easy. It's like they never had to get on a plane and fly to France to get the weapon they're looking for, or the weird book they're looking for.
I remember an episode of Angel where he had to take a flight to Europe.
He did. Him and Spike.
Yeah. There was
and
a lot.
Buffy was in that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yes.
Not actually.
It was the dude that was protecting the tree, and inside the tree was where souls were or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That always bothered me.
It actually kind of, when we were saying how it had like the one club and a bunch of shitty bars and the one shitty theater, really made me think of Cranbrook, like where I grew up, because we had. Last time I went there with Cassie a few years ago. She was a guest of mine for a wedding.
Yeah.
And I was showing her the town. We were going down Main Street of Cranbrook, and she pointed out something which I'd never noticed, and I lived there for 12 years.
Yeah.
There are two very popular businesses, and they're on Main Street. Every business is either an insurance place or a bar. Or a bank. But there's the banks, each one had a corner. Everything else is insurance places and bars. Which
the people of Cranbrook are very well insured.
Yeah,
they have lots of alcohol.
They're very well insured because they're drinking all the time.
In the back of my head, I'm still trying to think of what the bar's called.
Yeah, the Pit. I don't know.
No, it's the Pit. That's like from 90210. The Peach Pit.
Is that really the name of the place?
In 90210?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Peach Pit.
Oh, that would be.
Don't ask me about that show.
That sounds like a gay bar.
No, it wasn't even a bar. It was a diner, and they had this peach pie. It was like the main thing they served.
Oh, well, for a diner, the Peach Pit, that's an okay name. The
what was the bar called? Look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Because as soon as you say it, I'm going to be like, duh.
But back to the big bad thing. The first was the Master. The second one was...
First was the Master. Second one was... it was kind of Faith and Angel.
Yeah,
because Angel goes bad.
He lost his soul again.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, not Faith. Yeah, it was just Angel. And then the third one was the Mayor. The fourth one was Glory. The fifth one.
Glory was.
No, sorry. Fourth one was Adam.
Who was Adam?
Adam was like the military guy that they. That they They used mutant parts.
He was a cyborg.
Yeah, they used demon parts on so he was the big bad in season 4. Season 5 was Glory. Season 6 is this one's questionable because most people will say that it was Willow. She goes bad. But it's kind of like the 3 nerds.
The supervillains. I loved that
Andrew,
season.
Jonathan, and Andrew, Jonathan, and what was the other guy's name?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Which one had Nathan Fillion? He was a priest.
That was season 7.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Season 7.
Yeah.
It's wicked.
Yeah.
It's very epic.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he's a big bad.
Mm-hmm. But doesn't he work for someone bigger?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He works for the First.
Oh.
So basically, it's not corporeal. So it's kind of like a
shape changer. Yeah, I remember.
Even it can't touch things. It can't actually do anything.
Okay.
But it's evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's evil in its pure.
It's basically the first evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's trying to, get out.
Mm-hmm.
So by cutting off the Slayer line, it can, put itself into any human being that it needs to.
Really?
And so it has all these different minions. So it has the Uber Vamps, who are the ultimate vampires.
Okay.
So instead of being most vampires are a human mixed with demon, right?
Yeah.
They're just pure demon vampires.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're badass. You can't just kill them.
Yeah.
Normally, you would.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have little these little, not really priests, but they have little eyes that are X'd out and they can't see and they don't talk. They're mutes.
Huh.
Yeah, and they.
I don't know what that is.
You need to.
Sounds creepy as hell.
You need to watch it.
That sounds good.
It's really, really, really good. And then she forms her little army.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Sounds really
and
good.
Angel comes back in that season too.
Yeah.
Only for 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I found the name of the bar.
What?
The Bronze.
The Bronze.
Which...
You know what's funny that you say that, because I was thinking in my head, I'm like the copper or like the steel,
like the brass.
That's what I was thinking of, like the Bronze.
Which, going back to the whole idea that it's a goth club, that sounds like a goth club.
Yes, name. It does. You're right.
But like you said, in a small town, you do what you can. If you want to party, that's where you go.
If you want to stay on the right side of the tracks, you go to the Bronze.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're drinking in graveyards and getting attacked by vampires. Which I think
your other option.
That's happened how many times in Buffy? Like someone was drinking in a graveyard and gets attacked.
Well, normally they start out at the Bronze, and the vampires go to the Bronze, and then they're like, hey, let's go get some ice cream, let's go get coffee, and then they get attacked in the cemetery. It's like, I'm sorry, if you don't know somebody and they start walking you towards like a deserted graveyard at night, you don't go with them.
It's like the entire town, when they hear graveyard, they immediately don't think, no, that's where dead things are. They think, that sounds fucking hot.
That sounds like a good time.
Let's go to the place where where so many people have died.
In the first episode, Willow gets seduced and goes to a cemetery with a vampire.
And that's how she meets Buffy?
No, she met Buffy at school.
Okay.
But Buffy does in fact save her, obviously, or she wouldn't be in the rest of the show.
Yeah, Willow for the first
5 seasons.
5.
If you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say.
She was kind of useless. Xander was more useful, and I really liked Xander.
Xander was the heart.
Yeah.
He was the heart of the group.
Yeah.
He was the comic relief. He was the big brother,
Yeah, and he was just a dude. Just a guy. Didn't have magic powers like Willow eventually did.
And I'm glad that they never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just would have ruined the whole thing. Because it's like they needed someone who was just normal.
They kind of an entry point for the average viewer.
Yeah.
Just I think a lot of people actually associated more with Xander than with anyone else, simply because Buffy was always cold and emotionless, and then except when the vampire boyfriend was involved. And Xander was always he was always just a cool guy who ended up being an ice cream man, a construction worker,
hot dog stand,
just shit jobs, carpenter.
Yeah. By the end of it though, he was a supervisor at the construction site.
Yeah.
He made it big.
Made his way up, and it's the thing is.
They needed someone to fix the furniture in her house.
Yeah, especially after passionate lovemaking.
So it really fit into the storyline.
Every angle was covered. Joss Whedon is a genius.
Yeah.
It's just the thing is I just kind of thought about this now that we were talking about it, is that Xander, even though he is just a normal dude, he's kind of a loser.
Oh God.
His best career goal is not career goal, but his best career achievement was supervisor of a construction site. And I'm not saying that if you work in construction you suck, but
he didn't have very big aspirations. And even at the end at the beginning of season 4, when Buffy and Willow and everyone go off to college, he didn't go.
No.
And there was never any explanation as to why he didn't go, but he said he's going on a road trip. I don't know if you remember this, but he goes on a road trip and his car breaks down 5 hours out of Sunnydale, and he ends up having to work as a dishwasher at a strip club, at a male strip club.
Yes.
To pay his way to fix his car to come back.
Jesus, yeah.
And then he ends up living in his mom's basement.
Yeah,
But then Anya comes along and really.
She helps him get his shit together. I think, doesn't she? When he I don't know if she helps him get the job at the construction site, but I really do think that because they had a weirdly good relationship, considering she was an ex-demon.
Yeah. She was a great part of it.
She was really cool.
She was one of my favorites.
The Halloween one where she's dressed up as a bunny.
Yeah, because she's terrified of bunny.
Yeah.
Come as something that's scary, and she comes as a bunny. But it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's. I think that because of Anya and his relationship is why he was able to stick with the construction job. Because prior to, there's no real indication that he would kind of get his shit together.
And there was the episode where he was selling protein bars too.
Oh, God.
And he makes Giles buy 12 boxes of protein bars. Yeah, he was a big loser.
Yeah. I've seen in the comic, because in one of the seasons he does lose his eye and gets the badass.
Season 7. It's
badass eye
probably
patch.
like the third last episode.
Doesn't Nathan Fillion like pull it out or something?
Yeah, with his thumb. He crushes his eye with his thumb.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
That must have been harsh. But
they didn't show a lot of it, to be honest. But
okay.
There was a little blood.
A little, just squirt.
Yeah. And then there's all the eye jokes, You poke your eye out, or.
It makes him look more like a badass, and from what I can tell in the comics, he's not a construction supervisor anymore. No. He's like the
captain of their army.
Yeah, he's like, there's been an incident in Botswana.
Yeah.
You and you go to Botswana.
Yeah, he's not a construction worker in the comic book.
No.
That's for sure.
Thing is with Sunnydale explodes, right? Or it just gets sucked into the hellmouth.
Basically, how it works is Angel delivers a medallion.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person who can wear it can't have has to be ensouled.
Mm-hmm.
It has to have superpowers. So they assume.
Wait, ensouled?
Has to have a soul.
Oh, okay.
Can't not have a soul.
All right.
So like anybody, like Buffy, could do that.
Willow, because she does the magic, I guess.
Yeah, Willow, Spike, because he gets a soul.
Yeah.
Or Angel. Angel, Buffy doesn't want Angel around.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you're too distracting. You need to leave. You need to like. If this doesn't work here, you need to be like our second,
The backup.
The backup, exactly. Yeah. So she gives it to Spike.
Because who gives a shit about
Spike?
No,
because Spike wants it. Because Buffy, it can't be Buffy who does it. So Spike's like, I'll take that. Thank you very much. So he puts it on, and basically what happens is they go in and they're fighting, whatever.
Yeah.
And the medallion lights up, and it's like sunlight that comes out of it.
Okay.
So it burns all the Uber vamps, and basically the school like implodes in itself, and all of Sunnydale just becomes like a big pit of nothing.
Oh wow!
And you assume that Spike is gone because he turns into a skeleton and he does the whole like vampire getting killed thing.
Dusted. Yeah.
But his soul is entrapped in the necklace.
And he reappears in Angel.
Season 5.
The last season.
A lot of people did not like how it ended.
I thought
there was no conclusion.
You
know what I mean? Like, whereas Buffy, great, we destroyed Sunnydale, the Hellmouth was closed for good. Whereas with Angel, it was like, well, wait a minute, did they win? Did they lose? Like, what happens?
I really liked the ending of Angel. I liked that it was ambiguous.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when most series end, when they know they're going to end and it's not just canceled, like recently The River, I don't know if you saw that.
Well, that was like Firefly, too.
Firefly as well. There was a lot of mysteries left unsolved. And with Buffy, I'm assuming with Buffy, but with Angel for sure, leaving that ambiguous ending to me is great.
Yeah.
A good ending to a series that knows it's going to end is either have a very definitive ending, like everyone's dead, or like the Lost ending, where it's like, okay, these people,
Lost ending, don't get me started on
that. Hey, I know lots of people, I liked Lost, I liked it, there were weak spots, there were a lot of weak spots, but I did enjoy it for the most part, I liked the ending, which seemed to me fairly definitive. It wasn't like, it wasn't someone shouting at the camera. This has all been like everyone is dead now, and these people get to go to heaven. It was.
They were in hell the whole time.
Yeah, but I like either the ending that shows that like you've been with these dudes for however many seasons, and they've always been fighting the good fight, and it's going to continue. And if they've come this far, why not? Why wouldn't they continue?
Well, Buffy was actually supposed to end at season 5.
Really?
Yeah. They got picked up by the CW. That's why they continued for seasons 6 and 7. Now, Buffy actually died at the end of season 5.
Yeah, and she's reincarnated
in season 6.
Yeah.
So the show is actually supposed to end on that note of Buffy dying.
Which is a definitive ending.
Which is a definitive ending, definitely. Whereas they got it picked up and they kept going with it, and then the way it did end was a very final ending. Like, we did it, yay, we finished everything off, So there's another reason why I didn't really feel like the comic books were necessary, because it was like, okay, we get it, you're going to keep fighting, like, you're going to find things and do what you've always done, but...
Wrapping this up pretty soon, who would your favorite character in Buffy be?
Oh,
yeah.
Super
hard.
You,
even if you have a tie, you have to pick one.
Andrew.
He's one of the supervillains.
He's one of the supervillains. Every scene he was in, he outshone everyone. It's a random choice, I know, but
that is like I was not expecting anything. I was expecting maybe Anya.
Yeah.
Or just maybe Xander.
I love when
Xander would be my favorite.
When Anya and Andrew interact, it is the funniest thing you've seen.
That's
ever.
cool.
Like, they're hilarious together.
That's really cool.
He's my favorite.
And the supervillains though would be my favorite big bad. What would your for Big Bad?
Big Bad. The first. Because it was just like, how do you beat that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like you watched the new Doctor Who as well, right? What Buffy did helped to influence the BBC's remake of Doctor Who. Well, re-bringing up of Doctor Who. And the executive producer, Russell T Davies, had this awesome quote. Buffy the Vampire Slayer showed the whole world and an entire sprawling industry that writing monsters and demons and end of the world is not hack work. It can challenge the best. Joss Whedon raised the bar for every writer, not just genre niche writers, but every single one of us. That to me really sums up Buffy. It had so much. It had a lot of style. It had a lot of heart. It wasn't just gore. It wasn't just funny. Wasn't just drama. It was everything. But yeah, thank you very much for doing this, Jacqui. This has been Geektionary.